Reality.tv.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the New South Wales Ultimate Championships from the wonderful town of Raymond Terrace, some 30 minutes north of Newcastle on the central north coast of New South Wales. My name is Daniel Clinton. I will be your commentator for this Division 1 women's match between the Sugar Magnolias, the local team out of Newcastle, playing off against the Wollongong Surge. Well, this game is going to be a good one. Both teams entering this sitting on 0 wins apiece. Both of them down the standings for the Women's Division 1 competition. And it will be Britt McCarthy to bring us into the play. The Sugar Magnolias on defense to begin. Millicent Crowe will lead the defensive charge, followed closely by Sarah Lang. Osmond. Out to Rosie Nichols. Nichols looking inside Osmond. Osmond. Ha. Osmond again. The reset is there, out to Ruby. Goes to the far side of the field through Cooney. Taha. Surge working well. Bit of contact on the mark there by Liz Latrobe. Hard place through it. Osmond can't catch it. So here, Britt McCarthy is going to send it to Sarah Lang. Lang has to go early. It's too far out of reach. Sugar Mags turn the disc back over. Osmond's going to walk to the disc. The Wollongong Surge, this is their first year back together. Had a bit of a break of a couple of years as players kind of spread to the four corners of Australian Ultimate, playing for other teams for a little while. This is a resurgence of sorts. That's Ruby. Cooney can't get free, and Thea Osmond can't handle that. A little bit downcast is Osmond. Liz Latrobe to pick it up for the Sugar Magnolias. Latrobe will go outside in towards Crowe. Crowe with a nice layout. What a way to start the game. Millicent Crowe getting horizontal. Scores the point. Latrobe just outside in. This is going to decide a lot, I think, for both these teams. Building into their nationals campaigns. It's their opportunity to get a win on the board. You'd fancy both these teams are going to be down the standings a little bit at Division 1. Both of them very much in a strong development phase at the moment, looking to bring new players on board, bring new talent up to speed. Speaking of new talent, well, new to the Sugar Magnolias is Zanders, standing to the right as we look at it, of Leanne King, new to the Sugar Mags. An American import. We love our American imports in Newcastle. King with a backhand. It might stay in, it will stay in. A throw to the middle to Tupper. Young can't get it. Tupper goes up the line straight away. There's a pick call. Bit of discussion. Probably what the stall is going to be on. So the stall will be 2. There's the reset to Tupper. Tupper gets it to Snellgrove, back to Tupper. In power position. The timing of the cut isn't there. Goes high over to Mandy Lee. Mandy Lee. Well, she's gone to a restaurant and made a meal of that one. But Yan King gives it straight back, and then Tupper in the direction of Lee. It is Lee that's going to get it. Throws it to Nicole Wong. It's going to be a particular challenge, telling Wong and Lee apart. They're both of a similar stature. I'm 90% sure that's Mandy Lee catching. And Nicole Wong throwing. It might be the other way over, though. So 1-1 the score. Looks like Osman to pull for Wollongong. Osman, singly ready. A nice outside in, it'll float. McCarthy catches on the full to Hill. Going to have to work against a Wollongong hybrid set. Looks like a bit of a mixture of match and zone. Oh, and there's a block. Rosie Nichols jumping in front of that one. And she has the disc now. Alex Ha. Throw past the faces of both Osmond and Lucinda Ruby. And the Sugar Mags will get this back. Gina Hill. McCarthy gets up the line. She breaks across to Latrobe. An excellent cut for meters there by Daisy Ewan, who's going to uncork one. Millicent Crow getting a little bit turned around underneath that one. Osmond shouldering a lot of the throwing burden, and Osmond's going to go with a lower one towards Cooney, who's going to have to go. She does. She can't get there. Well, fireworks in both directions at the moment. Both teams swinging punches. Holly Tupper doing enough. Alex finds herself on the ground. Millie Crow is instantly gesturing uncontested. Looks like Ha and Crow are on the same page. They're just figuring out what the stall is, I imagine. It should be 0. Nguyen to Tupper, and Tupper's going to go towards Nichols. Nichols gets free of Hill for the score. Surge score their second of the match, 2-1. See, Tupper just has that moment, and then Nichols comes from deep. Hard to cover those cuts that come from deeper in the field with good timing. more than anything else, creating the separation. Thank you for your patience with our delayed start. The Wollongong Surge team had some COVID tests to do. So they went and did that. Presumably they're all negative. Some pundits in the chat claiming Surge to win 15-1. It would be 15-0 if Stephanie Benningson was here. Not sure about that. I think the Sugar Mags might score a few more than that. I'm sure that they would like to at least. So Osman with the disc in hand, she's going to pull by the looks of it for this Surge team. Osmond. And the Sugar Mags on offense. Zanders. Hill. Hill gets it over to King. And the Sugar Magnolia is working out of a strange offensive set. It looks like it should be a U perhaps. Whitney Doolan. To Hill. And Lang is gone. Hill's going to reach for her. Lang is in a good spot. As soon as Lang realized Hill was going to get that disc, her eyes lit up and off she took. Talking about new talent and bringing in new players. We saw the throw from Doolan to Hill to open up that move. Doolan, one of the new bright stars for the Sugar Magnolias. Playing a couple of years now. And because of COVID, hasn't really seen as much Ultimate as she would have liked, I think. So she's out there. And well, as a rookie, sometimes those are the things you build a career around. Completing passes, being reliable with disc in hand, not turning it over. Getting it to the players. It's a little bit of a reunion tour actually out there at the moment for the Sugar Magnolias. There is a strong contingent of the old generation. So Latrobe, Sinclair, and King, all from that previous generation of Sugar Mags, coming together again to play one more time. Ha breaks towards Nichols. And now McCarthy, that cannon of a left arm she has, definitely within scoring range. All she would need is a strong outcut. She could probably get it to them. Well, Nick Ward is going to ghost off the back. She's on the end zone line. Gets the reset to McCarthy. McCarthy comes around to Latrobe, who catches. Inside break for Latrobe. Nguyen playing that defense well. The throwing lane. And Tupper gets us in through Ruby towards Nguyen and Latrobe. Latrobe with the outside in towards Liz, who bids! Sinclair. Well, it was 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, maybe closer to 15, that was one of the red-hot connections of the Sugar Magnolias. Both the Lizzes, Latrobe and Sinclair, winding back the clock. And Ha to Nguyen. A nice catch down low. Latrobe with some sneaky poach defense. And now it's McCarthy. Looks for the break to Thompson. Thompson can't get it there. She's on the doorstep, is Thompson. Just being calm for a moment. There's a pick call down the field, so the disc will stop and return to Courtney Thompson. Speaking of blasts from the past, another alumni of the Sugar Magnolias for that 1000 era. Like spark on the sideline. McCarthy will spread the field across to Latrobe. It gets big on her. So Surge now with another opportunity. There's Nichols. Nichols with the outside in to Tupper. Tupper breaks to Nguyen. Nichols is a long way deep, comes under, working against Crow. Ha's going to get it. And there's Nichols popping up. Going to have a pick called on her by Crow. Some good spirit and rules knowledge from Crow here. Acknowledging that while she wouldn't have had a play on the disc, is still a pick. And Nichols kind of nodding and saying, yeah, catch up your space. Nguyen around to Tupper. And Tupper is going to go into tight coverage. McCarthy goes high. She does enough to put pressure on Lucinda Ruby, who tried to catch that. McCarthy breaks to Latrobe. To Sinclair. Ward gets open. Sugar Mags connecting well down this side of the field. There's Emma Gearing. Through hands to Crow. The stack clears and then Crow goes with a wild one to Nick Ward. She scores. The Sugar Magnolias. That is their third goal of the match. Back to that break throw by Crow. It might have been aimed towards Thompson. It's just got a bit high, got a bit big, and it worked out at the end of the day. So Hill to pull for the Sugar Magnolias. Hill playing off a rating of nearly 900 in disc golf. Asked her if that was any good, and she was quite humble. She said it's all right. Turns out she's only the number 3 rated player in the country, which, based on statistics, when you're in the top 2 or the top 3, it means you're pretty damn good at something. Ferguson just communicating with Mandy Lee, who's going to come to the sideline. It rolled out of bounds, so the option to take it to the middle is not there. The Sugar Mags defense is pretty good. Osman gets the reset. It's going to go high. Ewan trying to get pressure. Young. And there is Yetsenga, one of the other young talents that the Sugar Mags have brought into the team for this year. Hill to Zanders is a wild one. Gina Hill with the exclamation as she threw it, clearly coming out way too fast. And Osmond to Cooney, who catches high. Osmond. There's a pick call down the field. And just going to figure out where they should be. Guzmán, who's been doing a great job as a handler. Having to do a lot at the moment. Cooney. Cooney with an outside in. What a great catch. Snellgrove. Oh, it's a wobbly old forehand that goes through the hands of Nicole Wong, and King gets it to Hill. Lang is open in the middle of the field. To King, free arms, and flubs a forehand. Whilst the rain, that massive rainstorm we saw at the end of the last game, came running through. There's Lee towards Cooney and Adams. Adams with closing speed from nowhere. What a great block that is. Hill to Lang, to King as again. Yetsenga. Hill. Sugar Mags is starting to put it together offensively. King seems unmarked somehow. Lang goes out. Zanders to Hill. Zanders goes hard up the line. Hill's going to go for her. Sanders with a layout to score. That is a break. And for the first time this game, there is daylight between the two teams. 4-2. What an excellent throw. Zanders made that cut from what felt like 20 metres behind the disc to catch it 10 metres in front. The definition possibly of hard work. Going back to the conditions and the massive torrential downpour that we had at the end of the very last game. Also, it is fine at the moment. It's dry, there's no rain around. The ground is becoming heavy. We had rain yesterday, we had rain today, and the disc, when it slides along, it tends to pick up that water and it sticks on the rim. The surface tension of water does tend to adhere to the plastic a little bit, and sometimes when you pick it up and you go to throw a forehand, it just slips. So, always a challenge. It's like we are, well, we're in a dry patch at the moment. Dark clouds still hanging around though. We may see some rain during this game. But at the moment, the weather is nice and still. So both teams are going to be able to showcase their throws. And McCarthy with a pretty good pull. Nguyen to Tupper. Tupper with the big fake. Looking towards Nichols. And there she is. Gets the reset to Nguyen. And Tupper getting up the line. Has a receiver free. Elects to want to go back in board. Ha. Be up the line. She catches it well, does Lucinda Ruby. The Sugar Magnolias defense not really able to slow them down much there. There's a strong connection after connection down the sideline. Well, in the scheme of the game, Surge definitely wanted that. Fall behind by another break so early would have made the challenge even greater. At the moment, they're still within touch. They will have their opportunities in this game. Question being more not if they'll get them, but what they do with them when they have them. Alex Hart with the disc. Just chatting a little bit with some of the Surge athletes before the game began. Very much the repeated message was development. Get better. Go play Div 1. par with a nice looking pull. A deep pull that King will catch. Centers to Gina Hill. Adams. And Surge go back to their hybrid zone defense. Zander. Adams, King, Zanders. King. King breaks to Hill. The Sugar Mags are going to go to the break side to Nick Ward. Nick Ward, Nick Ward! She has unfortunately dropped it. I thought she had it. She definitely got her hands on it. Athleticism by Nick Ward. And apparently I know nothing about the weather. The rain has started. Nichols up high. Nichols with a long backhand that gets big on Katie Snellgrove. It goes up and over. With respect to the rain, I'm going to recant my previous words. I think we're going to get dumped on again. Adams is going to have to do a lot here. Adams kind of bumping into Alex Hara a little bit. He's not going to make a call. I think that's actually a good call by Adams. Great body awareness, knowing that she was backing up there and potentially caused the contact with Hara. Adams gets a piece of it, but Hara catches it anyway with strong hands. Osmond is on an island. She's all alone back there. Nichols bails her out, as we've seen Rosie Nichols do so much over the years. Osmond playing catch with Nichols right now. Osmond gets up the line. Great move. Dominator movement. A flat one. The bid is there by Topper. The throw, though, is too low. Hill. And a high one that Adams struggles to corral. Snellgrove. Ward does well to stop the swing out to Lee for the score. And there's Hara again. And Hara will go outside in towards Lee. She'll get that one. And Surge level with a break of their own now. 4-all. Wow, that is interesting. Nice mini resurgence by this Wollongong team, not letting the game drift away from them. The time cap rules being what they are this weekend, it's hard to win games when you're behind. Well, this game promised so much in the draw. You noticed that Surge and the Sugar Mags, we're going to go at it. Morning of day 2. It was definitely a high priority game that we would love to cover, and we're getting the opportunity now, and is it delivering? At 4-all, I imagine that the game is going to be somewhat truncated due to the late start, the COVID test by some of the Wollongong team. Latrobe. Latrobe is going to get a reset to McCarthy. Been looking good back there as a handler. Ewan. Crow. Lang. Sugar Magnolias. They're working with good connections. Their chemistry on offense has been excellent through Crow. You can see that the stall never really getting much beyond 3 or 4. As the handlers look down the field, there is a cutter coming. Ewan gets the reset. Latrobe. Latrobe is going to try and get it to Doolan. The inside forehand falls to the ground. There is an injury. It looks like Clarice McCabe gingerly making her way off the field. We hope she's okay. It's very gingerly indeed. Sorting out on the field who's going where and who's doing what, and the disc gets tapped in by Theo Osmond. I'll come back to that. It's an interesting variation. So Lee to pick up, and Lee instantly down the field. A nice catch down low by Nguyen. Nguyen is going to go towards Cooney. Cooney with a great catch down low with the right hand, makes up her ground, comes back, and the bid from Ewan isn't enough. That is a score. Ruby. And well, that's 3 in a row now for Surge. And in a blink of an eye, just as we thought, the Sugar Mags were getting on top. Surge take a deep breath. And they surge back into the game. Surge running with a fairly short roster this weekend. Annalise Hedich went down with an ankle injury. She's not playing. So they are going with 14 runners. Wouldn't know it from some of the cuts that we're seeing. Osmond signals ready. The distinctive bucket hat with the drawstring drawn tight under the chin. There's the pull by Osmond. Hill. Hill doesn't like the cut from Adams, so goes to Zanders instead, and then goes with Dominator movement. It's another poachy zone from Wollongong. Zanders, the cleats just sticking the ground a little bit. She contorts, tries to make what would have been an absolute spectacular flexible catch. There is the turn straight away. Holly Young just getting caught a little bit with the disc. Looked unsure as to where she wanted to go with it. King gets to Adams. Adams is going to break. Hard throw to Hill. Does it with class. King to Emma Gearing. Gearing in the end zone. Sugar Mags. They steady the rocking boat. Get back on an even keel and bring the game to 5s. Just identifying the dangerous space and trusting the handler core to get it to her. McCarthy with the disc in hand to pull for the Sugar Mags. Takes a lot of the pulling duties. McCarthy, one of the more powerful throwers. And a lefty as well, so has the advantage that in ultimate, generally we force one way, so we're trying to make the disc go in one way or the other. So what would be a forehand for a right-handed becomes a backhand for a left-handed player, and you can see when McCarthy's playing, she is capable of putting up throws like that, which nearly makes it to the end zone line. Lee. First pass and the defense gets on. Throws it to Wong. And Wong with a low one, gathered well by Cooney. Athletic play by Cooney to Nichols. Nguyen. Nichols gets up the line. Dominator movement. Has the throw to the fat side. It's going to go for Lee. Lee, who's there? Excellent awareness by Mandy Lee. And vision by Rosie Nichols. Chemistry between the two players, identifying that the defense had been sucked to the strong side. The mark had come around to try and stop the flow down the open side of the field. And that is a very good looking goal to the fat side, as we call it. A lot of space out that weak side of the field, the strong side being where the disc is. And hard to play defense on that. The force is really what stops that throw more so than the defenders down the field. Well, 6-5 now, the score. Nearly 40 minutes gone in this game, but we did start late, so we will see how the time cap situation evolves. Osmond. Hill. Van King has to make up a lot of ground, but saves it, preserves the offense. And Hill to Lang. Reaching. Hill again. Having a great game is Gina Hill. Oh, and Van King, as soon as she threw it, she kind of spotted Lee too late. It just was already in the air. She realized that Lee was in the throwing lane. And Osmond goes to Tupper. A short pass to Snellgrove. Ruby has the layout to get that one. Tupper drives in and away, getting the reset. Keeping that stall count low, and Lang sends it back from whence it came. No, it's a foul. I won't get too excited. I thought that Lang had just rejected Tupper. Turns out that Tupper was fouled on the throw. Yeah, it does look like there's a bit in that. It's hard to tell sometimes. It's a matter of millimeters, inches, and was it still in their hand? Lang looked like she wasn't too aggrieved. Lee. Through hands to Snellgrove. There's Osmond. Osmond's going to go outside in. And Nichols. The speedy Nichols. Not even she was fast enough for that one. A horizontal set for the Sugar Magnolias. is set very, very deep at the moment. Here, Daisy Ewan on the sideline, calling the horizontal shorter. Even still, King is going to go to Sarah Lang, who has found herself all kinds of open. Giro is heading down the field, gearing to the fat side goes Lang. It ends up in the hands of Thea Osmond, and Osmond quickly makes it back to the brick mark, to Nichols, to Ferguson. Osmond is going to go to Lee with a scuba, to Tupper, and Tupper's going to go to Snellgrove. Snellgrove couldn't do enough. Well, this game has had it all so far. Some big athletic plays, some excellent throws, some strong defense. And King is going to go again. King immediately going to Hill, who's in the middle of the field. It's Lang versus 5 in the backfield. King to Hill, to Zanders. Zanders with some fakes, trying to create something, and Hill is going to go to Sarah Lang. We sensed it coming. Lang all the way down the field. She was the dangerous receiver, and the surge defense did not deal with him. Here comes the rain again. Just starting to sprinkle a little bit, and the dark cloud coming over the top of Grantstown Dam again, as it has all weekend. McCarthy with the disc in hand, she'll pull again. The pulling performance thus far has been excellent. See a couple of the rising young guns dueling out there. We mentioned her earlier. Bianchi Kuhn, another rising young star within the ranks of the Sugar Magnolias. McCarthy signals ready. This game too close to call at the moment. It is just a game of the smallest margins. Here's Tupper. Ha. Looks off the Rachel Cooney cut. Decides to go back to Tupper. To Ha. A nice throw out here to Ruby. It seems like it is a forced middle for Sugar Mags, trying to keep the disc to come to the middle of the field. Tupper! Tupper with a big throw towards Cooney. Cooney catches well, stumbling, goes to the ground, keeps control of the disc. There's the throw for the goal. And Ruby caps the move. 7-5 the score. You see on the far field, the status quo Fishwick game has ended. Which I imagine means we must be close to time cap in this game. This game can't run too far over the clock, because there is more games to come here. We've got another couple of games. Sounds like we're going to play till 25 past. And here comes the rain. believe that's the lyrics to a Eurythmics song. Here comes the rain again. Pouring on my memories. Shout out in the chat if you know you know the lyrics to that song. Surge. This recent time they've just put their noses in front here. It's up by 2 now. On defense, Sugar Mags. They need this point. They can't fall behind too much. Time and again, we've just seen time running out on teams. Osmond to pull. Xanders watching that one. It's going to fall to the ground. Conditions are going to get greasy out there now. Hill gets up the line. Ewan's in space. Hit. What a grab by King. It looked close. Snellgrove is calling it up for Surge. And the disc gets called in. Hill to King. Hill's not open. She is now. This is junky zone that Wollongong. Well, that's a high stall throw. Osmond in the area. Ward snakes past her and catches it though. Here's King. King looking for Emma Gearing, who will have to do a lot. She goes hard. Well, Emma Gearing has thrown an incredible bid at that. It's just out of bounds. Full credit to Emma Gearing for not giving up on that, refusing to let it be. Players with heart like that are that's something you can't teach, really. Oh, a high, awkward grab. And the rain is beginning to come heavier right now. It's just a soaking sprinkle. It's good for the lawn. Oh, and a block by Xanders. Looks like there might be a little bit of a discussion here. It looked clean. It looked like there was clear separation between Snellgrove and Xanders. Maybe contact in the moments before the bid. Xanders having to flip from that outside shoulder to inside shoulder to affect the bid. Well, whilst it is my hometown, I gotta criticize the weather. I joke about how Melbourne and Victorian weather is terrible. No, the weather today is pretty bad. Well, the resolution is an uncontested foul by the look. Xanders happy to give the disc to Katie Snellgrove here. And Snellgrove looks for the reset. Can't get it to Osmond. Goes to Lee, and that's too far. Ewan goes fast. Decides better of it. Leanne King is going to walk to this one in the red zone within striking distance for the top class thrower of King. And now Hill resets to King, goes up the line with Dominator movement. You can see it opens up that break side. There's Ewan. Bid by Xanders, humongous. Preserves the offense. King gets up the line. King with a score. That's the 6th point. Well, the Sugar Mags are doing everything they can to stay in this game right now. Huge layout by Xanders. See it again. That's perfect. Bubbles, as they call her. And it's just King working in space. Goes to the ground. The nice catch. So, McCarthy again to pull. She's been pulling all game, and they have been good all the way along. There is McCarthy pulling. So Ruby getting involved. Now Tupper. To Cooney. Tupper. Had a great game. She flubs it. The rain just ruining Holly Tupper's intentions. To all of us. Well, these tournaments are always a challenge. There's so many things that arise when you're playing over the course of 2 days. A nice saving grab by McCarthy. Seems there is some discussion of some description. Seems to be Hill speaking with Tupper, maybe some sort of stall. Did seem high stall situation. So McCarthy has a disc in hand at the moment. It might come back. Seems to be Hill looking around a little bit. An experienced player, so Hill will be more than familiar with the rules, as all of the players should be. Incidentally, when going to advanced, Division 1, you need the advanced rules accreditation. You cannot play until you get it, as all the players are technically referees. They need to know the rules. This conversation has gone on for a little bit now, and I imagine if it's continuing, generally one of the rules in Ultimate is the discussion goes on for too long. It's just a contested call. It goes back. You know, this will come in on stall 8. And Sugar Mags are going to be backs against the wall here. Gina Hill is going to have to find an option and find it quickly. She's going to have not for long. Stall count in Ultimate is always a point of some contention, as it's counted by the player on the mark, and you're running around and your blood is flowing and your heart's beating real fast. It's not exactly 10 seconds. Some research found that the average stall is no more than 7 seconds in duration, but by agreement, so the players play on. The turn is there. There is a pick call. McCarthy getting hung up, trying to guard Cooney, which is a hard enough task without players getting in the way. So it just gets tapped in, and Nichols. There's a lot of players in space at the moment. Nichols across the field to a dangerous spot, and then McCarthy looks off the deep cuts. Crow is free. Crow in space is going to go to Sarah Lang with a nice catch out in front. That's a break for the Sugar Magnolias to level it up at 7s.
It's Galaxy Point, ladies and gentlemen. We had one yesterday. We've got one today. My weekend is complete. Galaxy Point. 7-all. Next point takes half. And it's going to be a timeout call. Both teams going to have an opportunity to talk it over ahead of what is going to be a pivotal moment in this match. Hope that all of you at home are enjoying our coverage this weekend. New South Wales Ultimate Championships proudly brought to you by Alti.tv. A community-based outfit across to cover this for you at home. So if you like what we do and you would like more coverage of Ultimate at tournaments like this, I think we have an incorrect score. Actually, I think it's 8-6. With the Sugar Mags taking half, I believe. We will clarify what the score is shortly, and we'll be back. So we have received clarification of the score. 8-6 with the Sugar Magnolias taking half. I don't know how that happened. I thought that we were on top of the score. But such is the self-refereed sport, the score is decided by the players. We are just, we are merely servants of the players and the Ultimate community at large, those fans of the game. I think that watching that back, we might send it to a recount, because it didn't seem like that was the score, but it changes the complexion slightly. Sugar Mags being up now. It's interesting. Rosie Nichols of Surge saying that they believed it was 8-6 as well. And that was halftime, so not a timeout, as I said. I thought it was a timeout, but clearly not. So we're some 10 minutes away from time counting this game, I believe. It turns out it was an Alti.tv mistake on the score. We balled it up, and I think it's going to be obvious on the stream. see Annalise Hedich, one of the players who would normally be joining this surge team, injured, out with an ankle strain or sprain. The difference, of course, being one's muscular and one's tendon. Well, this makes things extremely interesting. Wollongong to pull now out of half. This is going to mean that they will have to play defense here and get a turnover. Manly women's team actually at distance. Seeing Pump the Jam. Classic. Bit of a dance party to warm up. Rain that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Hill to pick it up for the Sugar Magnolias, who are in front in this game. Crow asks for this space. Hill, straight through the hands. This clearly slippery. And now it's Tupper. Tupper with a floaty one. Ha has to go low. Controls well as the disc drags along the ground underneath her body. Bianca Kuhn puts enough pressure on Osmond to get a turnover for the Sugar Magnolias. Gina Hill is going to go with the hammer. Oh, it's going to fade away from Latrobe, who bids. It was a tough ass throwing a hammer in upwind. Just hard to get it out of the hand right, make it fly right. Ha to Osmond. Osmond for the break that they need. Cooney is the one who scores it for the surge. Wollongong surge now. 8-7. Their start to the second half is not... It's been perfect. It could not be better. You could not ask for more if you're a Wollongong surge fan. Rain has maybe set in a bit now. Can't see the horizon. Just an endless, featureless expanse of grey out there over the dam. And Alex hard to pull for the surge. Oh, wouldn't it just make it interesting if they break here and bring it to evens? Gearing. Through McCarthy to King. King thinks about it. And then Zanders. King. with Xander's drawing the zone out of position, gearing to Lang. Well, as soon as they were through the zone, the Sugar Magnolias offense knew what to do. Go score the point, finish it, and maybe huddle under a shelter for a few moments of dryness before having to brave the conditions that are, well, it's beginning to persist now. Well, with some 5 minutes now to play. It's going to be King to pull. Looks like she's moved across lines now, perhaps sensing a moment and an opportunity. As Clarice McCabe is moving around on the sideline. She came off injured earlier in the game. Looks like she might be preparing to rejoin the field. So a great sign for Surge. A few more legs in what is a very short roster. Only, well, they started the game with 14 runners and they went down to 13 with the loss of McCabe. King. With that royal spin pull that she prefers. Spin pull used to be quite the thing back in the day, but it's fallen out of fashion. None a better practitioner than Leanne King, the Newcastle Sugar Magnolias. Osmond. And the Sugar Magnolias are going to go with a bit of a zone. Osmond gets it over to Lee, and Lee is going to go for Holly Tupper down the field. Tupper reads it well. Ewan not quick enough to react to where the disc was falling. Tupper looking for the reset. Tupper, high release, it gets point blocked. It's going to bounce around in there. Looked like that one was clean by Adams. So King will come up to this side and look into the teeth of a Wollongong zone. It's low, slides along the ground. That's a turnover. Lee picks it up immediately, goes high release towards the sideline, toes it in, does she? Stripped by the ground, Tupper. Having a great game is Tupper. She goes to the mark now. King off the break by Hill to get the Sugar Mags out of that corner. It goes through two sets of hands before falling to the turf. Tupper's going to pick it up straight away. Going to look for the goal to Lee. The bid by Ewan's not enough. Surge score their 8th. They're hanging around. So close by Ewan. Hitting the deck. And a great catch by Lee. Concentration is really key in those situations. You've got a player bidding right next to you. It's often hard, things moving. With the weight of the person who is literally flying through the air. Near you, it's always off-putting. It's in the periphery. You can feel it. Sometimes you can hear them. Maintain your concentration through that. Catch well, secure the disc, score the point. That's what the good players do. Well, Osmond, who's done so much, I think we're going to have a game to 11 because we are creeping up on time cap. Game so close. Notice the fact that the Sugar Magnolias are the longest standing women's team in Australia. formed some 20 years ago now, nearly 20 years ago. Early 2000s, the Sugar Magnolias came together, began playing Ultimate out of Newcastle. Teams all across the country have come and gone in that time. Wild Card comes to mind. Sporting Team Box, Atletico United, another Honey from Melbourne. All of those national champions who have reigned supreme and then folded for whatever reason. The Sugar Mags remain. Ball is going to get picked up. A little bit of miscommunication between Hill and McCarthy. That's Xander's working up into the cup. Hill piercing through to Crow. Kuhn, nice catch. McCarthy. It's back in the hands of Hill. The 900 rated disc golf player goes with a short one and then gets down the line. Sinclair. Comes up and go with a long forehand. You can see it wobble out of the hand. That's just the effect of the water. Not that Alex Ha doesn't have the range in, well, better conditions. And now Sinclair. The kids here watching her this weekend. Sinclair thinks better of it. Is going to go with a floaty one. Osman reads it well. Rising above the pack to catch that one. Nichols. A reset to Osmond, and Osmond's going to go over to Ruby. Oh, a nice bid there by McCarthy, nearly getting it off Snellgrove. Snellgrove, she's a little bit stuck with the dish. She doesn't know where to go. High stall. Nguyen bails her out just when her team needed her. Osmond is going to reach with a big flat backhand towards Alex Ha, who has a handler's got down the field. Nichols is there. She goes to the corner, does Nichols. Well then, that's interesting. 9 all. I think we might have a game to 10. And straight into Universe Point we go. All right, the first one of the weekend. Time to call the power lines. Who's going to decide this match? We're going to find out. Bianca Kuhn looks absolutely beat as she wakes her way under one of the shelters on the sideline. Players from both teams have fought hard. There's going to be a timeout call for the ultimate point in this ultimate game of ultimate. Actually, it doesn't seem like it is a timeout. The Sugar Mags are already on the line. Rosie Nichols has just called the Surge team in and given some instructions. So we've got 2 power lines out there. This will be the 2 lines to decide it. The Sugar Magnolias, we've got Gearing, Crow, Lang, King, Hill, Ewan, and Nicole Ward. Surge. Left to right, Osmond, Lee, Nichols, Cooney, Nguyen, Ruby, who's been so good today, and Alex Ha. Well, you want to be a top team, you got to win these tight games. This has been a great game. Certainly one of the pick of the tournament. In tough conditions, it's rained for what feels like the majority of the game now. It's going to get picked up by Crow to King. Hill. He's been as safe as houses. Hill against the zone. Breaks to King, who gets it out. It hangs out there for Nichols. And Nichols with a huge block. And now Surge in the red zone. It's Thea Rosman who walks to the disc. Is she going to throw the point? Ruby in space. A pick is called. Ewan's on the ground. She looks a bit stiff. She looks very stiff. She's going to call an injury. Is Ewan? Hopefully she's okay. She limps her way off the field, perhaps an ankle. Hope she's okay. It's going to be Zanders to replace her. One speedy defender for another to switch between Ewan and Zanders. Similar kind of height, similar kind of pace, similar kind of utility. They both can do it all a bit. Osman now for the win. To Nichols, that's it. Surge out of nowhere. They surge over the top of the Newcastle Sugar Magnolias. They clutch it out in the end. A huge block by Nichols. And then a huge cut for the score. That was all it took. One pass and the game is over. 10-9 the score. What a game that was. We've enjoyed it greatly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to join you shortly for the next match here from the New South Wales Ultimate Championships.